Welcome to the training. So you made it, you heard the call, and you answered yes to your soul, you answered yes to yourself, and you made it into this training. You know, this training was created because of you. Your soul created an SOS message and sent it out into the universe, into the world, and that's why this training was created. So kudos to you. But not just kudos to you for allowing your soul to ask for the guidance, but kudos to you for actually showing up and being here today in this training to receive that which you have asked for, okay? But before we dive into the actual content of this training, where I share with you the 3 things that shifted me from being the entrepreneur who had it all together on the outside and actually helped me to become the one who has it all together in my bank accounts, in the bedroom, in all areas, you know, I'm going to share with you the 3 things. But before we dive into those 3 things, which I know you're eagerly awaiting to learn, I want you to focus. I'm going to ask you a huge favor. I'm going to ask that for the next set of minutes that we are here, that you put aside all distractions, whether it's from your phone, from emails, from people who will be calling you. If you need to go close yourself in the bathroom to watch this, do that. But I'm going to ask that for the next set of minutes in this training that you are fully present and fully here, because your soul asked for this message and it's showing up for you. And now the responsibility is yours to actually be fully present and to receive it fully. So what I want you to do now is to go get a pen and a paper. If you need to pause this, grab the pen and paper, come right back. Don't pause it and go get distracted in your home. Grab the pen and paper, come right back, and let's focus. All right, so if you need to pause a second, grab the pen and paper, and then come back. Great, so you should have your pen, you should have your paper. Now what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes, and we're gonna just take some deep breaths and really set the intention that everything your soul needs to get today, it gets, okay? That you walk off this training on the path of your transformation, ready to move to that next level, ready to get into your new chapter, ready to be the person that not just has it all on the outside, but who actually has the joy, the fulfillment, the finances, the passion, the romance inside as well, okay? So close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, inhale. Hold it. Exhale. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. Let's begin. So 2017 was the year of me hitting all the stereotypical milestones that a successful person or a successful entrepreneur hits. I had the money, I had the clients, I had the international live events, best-selling books, and I'm even as I reel off all the things that I did, I'm rolling my own eyes, because it's okay, we get the point. You did a lot of stuff. But the reason I talk about this stage in my business and in my life is because I know that's where you are. You have the feature on the Forbes or, the Huffington Post or whatever feature it is that you have. You have the clients, you have the title, the numbers on Instagram, the numbers on your social media, the following. You have a lot of things, But if we're honest, you're where I was in 2017, where even though I had those things, I felt very unhappy, and I just couldn't understand why I felt so unhappy, and I actually made myself feel really, really guilty. I would think to myself, Shaniel, you have the money, you have the clients, you're traveling, you just moved into this amazing apartment, you should be happy, you should be grateful, you're one of the lucky ones, so many people don't have what you have, and all these stories about why I was supposed to be happy. And I felt really guilty because I was not happy. I mean, I was grateful, I was thankful for what I had, but I knew in my heart of hearts that I was not living at my fullest potential, and not just fullest potential in terms of success and career. I'm talking about fullest potential in life, okay? The love, the passion, the adventure, the excitement, everything that I was meant to have, I was not fully at the highest heights of what I was capable of. I don't think I was even at 20% or 17% or 10% of what I was really capable of having, being, doing, experiencing. And all my nights of crying and praying, there came the divine response. And the divine response doesn't always come in the way we want. I wish that someone just made a video training, like telling me how to get out of that mess, out of that feeling, out of that state. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But I'm here for you. I'm here for you to share so that you don't have to go the hard way like what I did. But the wake-up call came when I was launching, and the launch was a big flop. It was a huge flop. I made money on the launch. People signed up, but it was nowhere near what I desired. It wasn't even near to my minimum goal. It was the first time in years that I had a launch that didn't even hit the minimum goal. It was below the minimum goal. Like, how was that possible? It was just like, that wasn't even a concept in my mind, but it happened. And I just remembered seeing my income begin to dwindle, and I knew then and there that something had to change. And when I implemented the 3 things that I'm going to, along with a few other things, but these 3 main ones, when I implemented these 3 things in my own business and in my own life, and no, there were not any funnels, no burnout was required, there was no stress or overworking or no, I didn't have to do another photo shoot or no, it wasn't about that. It wasn't about any of the stereotypical things that marketers and entrepreneurs do to grow their business or to expand. And I'm going to share with you what the 3 things are in this training. Of course, that's what this training is about. But when I started to implement those 3 things, something magical happened, something miraculous happened. In fact, my monthly income, my high monthly income, because you have ranges in your income sometimes, or maybe you have an exact specific amount that comes in every month. But my high monthly income, the high range in my income, it became my weekly income in a matter of days. In a matter of days. I was like, I was speechless, okay? And I'm a talker, so if I'm speechless, that some real stuff happened. So when that happened, it really made me pause to look at, wow, this process that I went through to create this shift, I realized it was something that the world needed to know. People needed to know it. And so what I began to do was, right then and there, in the midst of 2017, I started to do that work with my clients then and there. And every client since, I just kept doing it with them. I just kept doing it. And clients would go from they would double their income, they would triple their income, they would turn their monthly income into their daily income, they would book 38 calls from one Facebook post, not a video, just a post with just words, and 38 consultation calls would be booked. Or people were finding soulmates, people were getting pregnant, crazy incredible things would happen to my clients because of this process. And the thing is, I'm a human being, and as a coach, as a consultant, you're working with small numbers of people, and I'm one person, and I can't help the millions of people in the world individually in that way. But I knew that by recording this training, by creating this type of content and sharing this out to you, I knew that I was going to be able to multiply the impact, multiply the lives that were going to be changed, the souls that were going to be stirred, through this work. And so that's why I decided to create this training, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to share with you what it is that I did, and to share with you what it is that I've taken my clients through to get them to do the same thing and beyond, right? Because when I did this work, I didn't only turn my monthly income into my weekly income in a matter of days, but I also improved my romantic relationship, where the passion and the fun and all the adventurous things were happening in my relationship as well, in my romantic life, in my relationship with my family. Everything shifted. And so I think it's time for you to have that same kind of transformation. So let's not wait anymore. Let's dive into these 3 shifts, these 3 steps, 3 tips, 3 shifts. that will change literally your income and your personal life. Like, it's going to rock your world. So the first thing that had to change was my persona and my image. Now, a lot of times when people think about their image, they think about like just the wardrobe or the hair or like how they look. And yes, that is a part of it, but it's actually more about the character that you are embodying. You know, who you are right now is the person that has created the life that you currently have. And if you are going to become the person who has the monthly income becoming your weekly income, if you're going to become the person who has the passionate romance and the like overflowing financial abundance, who has like freedom and peace of mind, and who isn't burnt out, and who actually like feels fulfilled, that version of you is a completely different version than the one that is watching this video right now. Now, here's the thing. You actually have to kill the old version of yourself. It's going to be hard. It's going to be painful. It's going to be uncomfortable because you're comfortable as that version of yourself. You've been that version of yourself for a while, right? But your soul is yearning and longing to be you, as I like to call you 10.0, the next chapter of you, the next version of you, the next emanation of you. And if you continue to be who you are now with the same routines, the same environments, the same people around you, even how you show up, how you look, how you talk, you will continue to have the life that you currently have. You know, I think it's Einstein that said doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity. And so you cannot expect to have a different life if you are the you that you are now. And the you that you are now is beautiful and whole and perfect. And there's another version of you that is also beautiful and whole and perfect, but who has all the things that your soul desires to have, who has created that which your soul desires to create. And that's who you are meant to become. That is who you are meant to be. Now, the funny thing is, a lot of times we try to think about how, like, we go on Pinterest, and like, this is what I used to do. I would go on Pinterest and I would like try to find the people who I thought would look like how I thought I should look to have the thing I wanted. Or I would find mentors who looked like what I thought I needed to look like, or be like who I thought I needed to be to create the life that I wanted. And the truth is that when you do that, you actually create a dynamic of suffering for yourself, a dynamic of playing small for yourself, because your soul, the ultimate version of you, that 10.0 version of yourself, that version of you has some unimaginable dreams, desires, goals, vision. And anything that is being done by another mentor, anything that has been done by someone else that you're trying to take inspiration from, what happens is that you end up playing small. And then you end up right back where you are right now, unhappy, unfulfilled, because you're not living at the highest ultimate potential of who you're meant to be and how you're meant to show up and express. Okay, so the first thing I had to do was I had to kill Chanel. I had to kill Chanel. I had to kill that version of myself, and I had to be reborn like a phoenix from the ashes as the new version of myself. Now, here's the thing. When I do this work with my clients, I actually intuitively see what that 10.0 version looks like. I can see exactly what they need to wear, how they need to dress, how they need to show up, what they need to talk, how they need to talk, the exact type of persona they need to embody. So for example, or even activities. So for example, let's say you're the entrepreneur who is doing bar. You know, you go to bar class and you're doing, you know, that like very modest type of dancing, and it's good for you because it's helped you to move, it helps you get into your body and stretch. Or, you know, maybe you're the entrepreneur that you're doing yoga and you're doing Pilates and you're doing these kind of things, which they're useful. Not saying that you shouldn't do them, but the aspect of you that the 10.0 version of you does is that she's doing pumpfidence. Now, I don't know if you know what pumpfidence is, but it's that kind of dancing where they dance in heels and it's like very sexy, and then they're like like really in their body, okay? I'll see if I can like include like a little clip somewhere here of what confidence looks like. I'm sure you've seen it before because they're all the rage on Instagram. The videos of confidence are always going viral and things like that. So I'm sure you've seen it some way, shape, or form. And the truth is, you in your soul want to dance in heels and be all sexy and like on the ground and like, you know, you want to do that. The 10.0 version of you actually does that and has that confidence in their body, in their sensuality, in their sexuality, in they feel confident, not just look confident on the outside and just like talk confident and like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. No, that version of you is like fire, it's like fierce, like, wow. And the thing is, you're showing up as the yoga version of yourself. And again, it doesn't mean that you need to stop doing yoga. I'm saying the version of you that has the life you want, that is a master manifester, not just of money, but of the passion and the romance and the excitement and just impact and influence and fulfillment and all of that, who is not chasing validation on social media, who doesn't care about the numbers because they know they'll actually get the numbers, they'll actually 10x their influence, but without having to try, because they're showing up as that essence of them who is the rock star, who is that magnetic version of themselves. So that's the first shift. Now, my intuitive gifts, one of my intuitive gifts is that I can actually see for my clients exactly what they need to be doing, exactly how it needs to look, exactly like specifics down to the T of what their persona and image needs to be to create that life that they want, to get the 10x in their influence, to have the TV show that they secretly desire, but they like don't feel ready inside, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to get there. It's on my like 3-year goal, even though it's something that they can do within this year. And I can see exactly like where they need to go, who they need to talk to, all of that, to make sure that their persona is the persona of them 10.0. And if you know anything about quantum physics or manifesting, you know that when you are at an energetic match for a specific thing, you always get it. Every time. So the persona has to change, because you have to literally kill the old version of yourself and become this new version of yourself who has the boundaries, the beliefs, the feelings, the emotions, the thoughts, the walk, the talk, the essence, the concept, the character, the persona of the U 10.0, because the U 10.0 already knows how to get on Oprah. The U 10.0 already knows how to 10x their influence and like 10x their income even, like, whoa, crazy stratospherical advances in their bank account, right? The U 10.0 already has that, but you are not connected at this moment, unfortunately, or I wasn't even connected to what that was. And that's why intuitively, when I see this for my clients, they make the shifts instantly. So I'll give you an example. One of my clients, we spoke on a Sunday. I don't usually work on weekends, but I'm intuitive and I get downloads and hits for my clients all the time. So I like call her up and I'm like, I sent her a voice message on Facebook actually, and I'm like, listen, you need to do a video tomorrow. This needs to be the title. You need to wear this. You need to do your hair in this way, and you need to talk in this way. She goes on live stream and has a multi-millionaire say, heck yes, I want to work with you. Crazy. This is someone who was not on my client's radar in terms of like, she knew she wanted to have clients at that level, but she never believed that she could have clients at that level. And just from that one voice note of what to wear, how to show up, exactly what to say, exactly what to embody, she manifested a multi-millionaire, somebody who she would have thought would have been her mentor. She manifested them saying, oh my gosh, heck yeah, I want to work with you. And that person actually then went, that multi-millionaire then actually went and gave her a shout out on social media. Like, Ridiculous. So that's just one example. I mean, it happens all the time with like all the clients, but like that's one example of how when you shift your persona, how it changes. Because I give you an example of what happened for me when I did it, but I want to show you that it's not just about me, it's also about you, and how you can embody that. And the truth is, if you already knew how to embody that version of yourself, you would have. So sometimes we can't see the forest from the trees. It's kind of like if you're in a maze. I was talking to Carlo about this yesterday as well. It's like you're kind of in a maze and you are in the maze. If you ever watched the show Maze Runner, you know, or any maze, if you ever played a maze game, there's walls of like grass all around you and you don't know whether to turn right or to turn left, or are you going to be at a dead end. But someone with a higher perspective, someone who can give you that bird's eye view perspective, they're like looking at the maze, they can say, oh, turn right, okay, turn left, okay, go that way, okay, the exit is there. Like they can direct you to the exit, whilst if you are in the maze, it's much harder. So that's why even though you can see this for other people, the reason you haven't been able to do it is because the 10.0 version, you've been detached from that version of yourself. So navigating through that maze is a little bit challenging. So that's the first thing. The second thing that had to change for me was actually around my relationships. Now, a lot of times we try to compartmentalize our lives. We say, oh, business, oh, relationship, oh, friendship, oh, self-care. Like we put our lives into different categories, and you can see it from our Pinterest boards, or we have a Pinterest board about what we want to, where we want to travel. We have a Pinterest board about, manifesting a soulmate. We have Pinterest boards about like our branding and our visibility, or how we want to look and show up. And it's the same on your Instagram highlights, right? You're like, oh, my outfits, or you're like, oh, where I travel, oh, where like we compartmentalize. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with using the social media platforms in that way, because that's kind of like how they function. However, when we do that in our actual like practical life, it causes problems. How we do one thing is how we do everything. If you are not fully expressed in your romantic relationship, if you are not turned on, if you are not magnetized, passionate, in love, that same characteristic flows into your business. There is an energy leak there, okay? Because how we do one thing is how we do everything. Our subconscious mind works in cycles. It works with rituals. It works with habit. It's a habitual process. We will always take the path of least resistance. We will always walk the beaten track. And so if in your romantic relationship, or lack thereof, because maybe there literally it doesn't exist, but your lack thereof, that is directly related to you not having the finances that you want in your business. That is why you set goals that are safe, and then you still don't hit the safe goals, which this is not to make you feel bad or guilty. This is to bring it to your awareness so that you realize, oh my God, that's true. I haven't been turned on romantically, and oh my gosh, I also haven't been turned on in my business. Like, that makes so much sense. And so when you realize that they're all connected, when you shift the relationship and actually put time towards that, you will see a dramatic improvement in your business. You see, the thing is, when you tell yourself that you don't have time to think about relationships because you're busy launching, you don't have time to think about relationships because you're busy, you need to get yourself to be an energetic match to a specific number so that you can manifest it and be that entrepreneur, and you're working on this spiritual side of yourself, and you forget that you are not just a spiritual being, you are also a sexual being, an emotional being. And when we turn off the channels, when we close our heart from receiving love, we close our heart from receiving, full stop. Because money is actually a love energy. Money vibrates at a love energy. What is more nourishing and caring and supportive than money? So if you don't actually allow love in, passion in, desire, fire in to your that in your romantic relationships or in any relationship, you actually are limiting how much of it you do receive in your business. So This is why I said, like, when I made these shifts, not only did I improve in my finances, but my romantic relationships completely changed as well. My, like, passion was there, adventure, spontaneity. And so when you realize that, when you actually stop using work as a distraction to not think about the ex and heal the trauma from the ex, or to resolve the problems that you have with your current relationship dynamic, instead of distracting yourself with your work, okay, and like, oh no, I can't think about it because I need to like launch this thing, like 11 o'clock at night, I need to, like, you know what, let me send this email. Even though when you're sending the email and you're writing in the email, you're writing, oh, you can have it all, or you're writing the social media post, oh, have it all, and then the thought comes into your mind of, oh wait, but I want love too, and then you're like, no, shift myself back to being positive, be positive. And then you finish writing the post and you share it and you feel good. Whilst deep inside, your subconscious, your heart, your soul is like yearning for more passion, yearning for more love. And when you allow yourself to open up to this more passion and more love, you open yourself up to receiving more money. I'll give you an example of this in my own previous life, like in my own life. I remember when I was just starting out in the coaching world, just starting out in online business, and I wasn't really booking a lot of clients. You know, I had clients, but I wasn't booking as many clients. And I remembered breaking down and crying and like talking to God, and I was just like, God, you know, like I'm an ugly crier, so you don't even want to see how I look when I cry, but I was just like, oh God, like, why is it that like I'm not receiving, like I'm doing everything, I'm posting, I'm doing ads. So at the time I was like, this is like in the beginning, and I was like really just like pushing so hard. I have so much compassion for that version of myself. Like, she's so sweet. Anyway, and I was crying, and I was just like, God, why is it that, you know, like this isn't shifting? And I just heard clear as day, you know, my intuition, the voice of God, the Holy Spirit, you know, the divine voice, my soul, whatever you want to call it. I just heard, you're not open to receiving. And I thought back to earlier that day when Carlo, my partner, was trying to buy me a pair of Calvin Klein shoes, and I said, no, I'm an independent woman, I don't need that, like whatever, you know. I was like not open to receiving a pair of shoes. And because I wasn't open to receiving a pair of shoes, how we do one thing is how we do everything. So just as I wasn't available to receive that pair of shoes, I wasn't available to receive the clients. And so if you don't open yourself up to your sexuality, your sensuality, your divinity, your relationship, your ability to be supported, to be loved, and to heal the wounds, and to forgive the past, and to see what is happening, and to deal with it, and not distract yourself with work, and to be busy on every single platform, confusing yourself because you're trying to run away from just your truth and your soul's voice, you know. And when I did that, I booked, I think it was like 4 clients or something, like within like 2.5 days. I was just like, where did these people come from? Out of the blue. They came from out of the blue. And they didn't come from out of the blue. They were always in my circle. They were always around me. They were always desiring to buy. But there was this energetic block of me not wanting to receive. And so I wasn't taking actions as the woman who deserved it. I wasn't taking action as the woman who was worthy of it. I wasn't taking action as the person who was ready to have it. I was still being a version of myself that wasn't deserving of love, that wasn't worthy of support, that wasn't good enough, or who wasn't ready yet. You know, ready yet. Sometimes we like tell ourselves we can't have it now. We need to wait until like this specific year. And another thing about that loving and things as well is sometimes we think we need to wait until the last minute. You know, sometimes if you're the kind of person, if you're like me, where if I get like, let's say I was in school, like, or I was in university or whatever, I had an assignment. Let's say the assignment is due tomorrow at 12 o'clock. I will not complete the assignment until tomorrow at 11:59, and then I press submit. That was me. the person that waited for the last minute. And in my business, I always found when I was, before I had this, this epiphany and this transformation, I would always wait till the last minute. I knew, okay, it's the last day, so this is the day when most people are going to buy. It's the last day, so this is the day when I'm gonna rev up the machine even more. I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna keep going, right? That was the mindset, because I had this belief around the 11th hour miracle. I don't know why my mentor used that phrase, because then she said it, and then I thought everything needed to be the 11th hour miracle. I didn't believe it could just happen. It could just happen, whenever, or now, because I want it now. I thought it had to be 11th hour miracle. And what happens is, in your relationship, it's the same thing that's happening. It's the same dynamic. It's you believing that you need to be at the last straw, right before that last egg disintegrates, then you will have that 11th hour miracle, or right before you're at the brink of the breakdown, then you can have the thing. And the truth is, when you have that in your relationships, it is happening in your business. It happens with your family. It happens with you catching your flights. It happens with how you serve, with how you show up. And even though this is a second point, the whole thing of your relationships and your love, it ties back into your persona, because the 10.0 version of you knows they can have it now. The 10.0 version of you knows they can have it whenever they want. It doesn't have to be that they have to go through the struggle. Another thing too with the relationship is that's mirroring with your business, is that when you have in your business this concept that people need to not like you first, and then they like you. It's the same in your relationship. There's a reason why you're not having the passion, because you believe that there needs to be struggle first, and then you can have the thing. Because if there's no struggle, then you don't deserve it. If there's no struggle, then you're not worthy of it. And that's not true. That's not true. So that was the second thing I had to deal with. And with my clients, the way how I help them to do this actual part is that I can, just like I intuitively see for them, their persona, how they're meant to show up, exactly where they're meant to live, what they're to eat, literally what time they're to wake up, prescribing their exact life of who the 10.0 version of them looks like. It's the same with the relationships. I can actually see the exact specific core relationship that's causing the problem. So for example, if it's the father relationship of feeling abandoned, feeling you had to prove yourself to be approved or to be loved, and now you have to prove yourself in business to be loved. You have to do 10 videos to get someone to buy a $200 offer, or a $1,000 offer, because you don't believe that you are enough or worthy, or you were taught that you have to prove yourself. So I can actually see the specific relationship, the core one. I can see the specific relationships in your current life. And not all relationships are romantic, by the way. Some of them are, friend relationships that need to, be kicked to the curb. Family relationships with some of your clients in terms of boundaries or lack of boundaries. I remember one of my clients, she had a lot of resentment towards a past mentor that she had, and the first call, I knew. I was just that's what it is. We need to work on that now. Just by healing that relationship, that guilt, that shame that she had, I think it was 24 or 48 hours after the session, she made half of her monthly income in 24 hours or 48 hours, something like that. So yeah, that's the second one, your relationships. And again, when I say love and relationship, as a second step, I'm not just talking about your romantic relationships. I'm talking about your relationships with your team members, with your clients, with your past coaches, with all of it, okay? So when I looked at that not only made me embody even more the persona of my 10.0 version of myself, which then allowed me to have, more success in my business. But what happened was, as I allowed myself to look at and not avoid and not distract myself with work from what was really happening, from what was really holding me back in my personal life, as I began to put the pieces together in that way, as it is on heaven, so it is on earth, And as I was doing that and working on my soul in that way, I created an energetic resonance and like a character within myself who was then able to demand what it is that I wanted and actually receive what it is that I wanted, what I desired, what I deserved, what I knew from day one in my soul that I deserved. I was finally able to open myself to receiving that. So now we're going to look at the third thing. Now, even though the first two were two of my favorite transformations that I've ever gone through in my entire life, I think the third one, which I'm going to share with you now, is literally one of the most profound, because this one didn't just help me. It didn't just help me. It didn't just make me more money. It didn't just give me more passion and romance. It changed people's lives. It changed people's lives. It gave me fulfillment. It gave me meaning. It gave me true happiness. It made me not have those bad nights when I would like question if I was good enough, or feeling down and depressed and not even understanding why. When I did this third thing and I understood this third thing, it brought me to tears of gratitude for just the fact that I am, for the fact that I'm here, for the fact that I get to be, experience, live, do, have, teach, serve in such a powerful and magnificent way. It connected me even more to my intuition. It connected me even more to you, to understanding you, understanding your soul, understanding what you are meant to do on this planet, and saying yes to my soul's mission and my soul's calling. And when you do this, when you understand this third step, everything will finally start to make sense. Everything. It will all literally become so clear. And not just does it become clear, but your confidence in becoming and transforming yourself into that 10.0 version, your confidence in saying goodbye to the things that don't serve you, your confidence in deleting, erasing, removing, cutting off those cords that are currently holding you down and holding you back. Oh my gosh, so easy, so easy. And the third thing is understanding the specifics of your vision, your divine soul vision, your divine soul vision. I'm talking about your vision, your spiritual gifts, because right now there's certain things that you do right now. There's certain things you sold or sell or like that you promote that has aspects of this higher vision and a higher aspect of who you're meant to be, And what's happening is that you don't even understand how it works. You don't understand why it works. You don't understand how it works. You don't even think it's something special because it comes so easily to you. And what happened was, the third thing I had to do was I had to discover and become aware of my divine gifts, my own spiritual process, and how I work and only I work, and what the specific vision of what I'm meant to create really is. When you know what that is, there is no comparison. There is no distraction. There is no trying to figure out how that person did it, because you realize exactly what you are meant to do, the specifics of it, and exactly what that looks like. So let me give you an example. When I went through this process, I actually discovered what my divine spiritual gifts were. I discovered that I could see people's persona. I discovered that my spiritual gift was I could understand what relationships and stories and things in people's lives were really causing them to be held back. I could understand the exact actions, meaning who to talk to, how to do it, what to say. Like, I could do that. And what happened was, because I had all these trainings, like all these certifications and accolades and degrees and like whatever, I thought that it was something that everybody knew. I thought it was, it's just, I'm smart. I didn't realize that it was actually a divine spiritual gift that only I had in that specific way. Like, what? like I know this because it's a divine gift from like the divine, like God, like what? And the thing is, there are certain things you're doing right now in your business and you're using some of your gifts and you don't even know that you're using them. And there's some of them that you have, but you suppress because you're afraid of what people will think. You're afraid of what people will say if you show up as that way. So for example, when I discovered that one of my gifts is that I can see what people are meant to do, exactly, specifically what they're meant to do to live that higher vision or to live the 10.0 version of themselves, right? When I discovered that that was my divine gift, like my birthright from God, like I was born already knowing how to do it at like 0 years old, and I don't have to try to make it better. It is like, it just is. And when I discovered that, I was very hesitant because I came from the traditional Pentecostal church. I don't know if you are familiar with the Pentecostal way, but you don't know people's future unless you're a prophet. You know what I mean? And you don't just know that. Like that's evil. That's demonic. You know, like that's wrong. That's like don't do that. Like don't channel for people. Don't tell people like the truth about them because you have to be a prophet to be able to say that kind of thing or whatever. And so I was afraid. And so I didn't even embody that I knew that. I always resorted to believing that I knew those things because I was just smart. I knew those things because I was, I had degrees. I was smart. So I actually didn't realize that there was something special about me that the world needed. 7 billion people on the planet, and I'm the only person who can see it for someone in that way. And the thing is, one of my gifts is that I can see my clients' gifts. And when you know what your gifts are, the gifts that you've already been given, you don't have to take some course to figure it out. You don't have to read a book to figure it out. It is a part of you, but you don't even know that it's a gift because it comes so easily to you. It's a thing that you do that works so well, and you don't even know why it works. You don't even know that it works. And another thing too, in this whole third step was my process. Before, what I was doing with clients was what I learned from my social work degree, which, in social work, you do counseling and you do psychology and you know how to like ask questions and all of that. So I kept resorting to, in my work, in my coaching, I kept resorting to a strategy, a formula that I learned. When I would look at someone's marketing or their business, instead of tuning in and like just knowing that I had the gift of knowing what that was, I would think about what I learned from Ryan Dice or what I learned from, some fancy schmancy mentor about how to do marketing. And I would teach my clients that strategy, and I would teach them that formula, and I would teach them that funnel or that thing in that specific way. And when it came to the spiritual side and their emotions and helping them to become, in alignment with the 10.0 version of themselves, the old me didn't know that's what I did. So what I would do was I would use the language that what I heard from like Louis Hay or what I heard from Gabby Bernstein, or I would use the language and the concepts of what I learned from other spiritual gurus or people before me. I didn't realize that I had a divine signature process and magnetic model that was divinely given to me at birth of how I meant to work and how I meant to serve, and an exact process that I take people through. So what would happen was, when I was using these processes before leading up to summer of 2017, my clients still got results, because it's not that these processes don't work. The person who created it, their soul also created a system that worked for their specific calling. And what would happen was my clients would still get results. But let's say, for example, a client would take 3 months to double their income. Okay, it would take them a full solid 3 months to double their income. When I was using other people's formulas and still using my gifts, but not even knowing I had gifts. Let's go to July 2017. I knew what my gifts were. I understood what my process was. I understood why what I was doing was divine and why I had to serve in that way, because if I didn't, the world would miss the opportunity to receive that transformation, Because I was the only one divinely appointed and anointed, just like you are, for your gift and for your process and for your mission and for your vision. But I was divinely appointed to do that work. And if I didn't do it, millions of souls would suffer. Millions of people would sit and would feel trapped because I wasn't expanding and I wasn't living as my 10.0 version of myself. I was busy playing small and playing safe because I was afraid of what people would judge me, or if I would get haters, or people wouldn't like me, or whatever. And when I shifted and understood my process, what I do, my clients didn't take 3 months to double their income. They would take 3 days. Because my clients who are divinely appointed to work with me in my programs, in my groups, in my one-on-one, in my intensives, whatever it is, the people who are appointed to work with me, my process is the perfect fit for them. It's like you go to the shoe store and you try on a bunch of shoes, and then finally put on the right shoe. That's what I was doing before summer 2017. I was giving people 10 different shoes to put on and like hoping that maybe one would fit. But what I did when I did step 3, which was understanding my gifts, my vision, the specifics of my vision, the specifics of my process, how I divinely work, and only I work. No one else works that way. Just like for you, no one else. But you don't even know that you do this. You don't even realize you do it because it comes so easily to you. But when I realized this process, I could look at their feet and say, oh, you're a 7.5. Oh, you're a 8 wide. Okay, this one is a size 12. And instead of me trying to test and like figure it out after 3 months, it was just like, oh, boom, here. Try that. Boom, it works. And when you have a full understanding of what your vision, your mission, your process is, your divine process that no one else does, you become indispensable in the marketplace. You become magnetic. You become mesmerizing. You become an icon. That is when the Oprahs will call. That is when the TV shows will happen. That is when the millionaires who are your mentors, or maybe your friends, that's when they become your clients. That's when the people you've been watching for years, looking up to them, idolizing them, that's when they call you and they say, I need you. Because no longer are you trying to squeeze your magnificent gifts into a tiny package of someone else's process, but you become a legend, a living legend. That's when you 10x the influence. That's when you don't have to even worry if your post is going to go viral, because it just does, because that's just who you are. That's just how you do. You don't have to worry about a post going viral. You show up and you give content, and the people come flooding in. And guess what? It's not just randoms. It's not just random people to build up numbers. These are the people who actually want what you have. These are the people who are the divine fit for your process, your gifts, and your calling, and your higher vision. It's not that you're not living a part of your vision now. You are living a part of it, but let me tell you something, darling. You are not even 20% near the full potential of what you are capable of creating. There is a higher vision, one that you have not even realized. It's not about you being a Forbes, writing an article for Forbes. It's about you being on the cover of Forbes. Okay? It's not about you just writing an article for Forbes. It's about you being on the cover, a full page feature. And when you understand this gift, this process, this incredible thing of what you and only you do in your career, oh gosh, you walk and you're like, oh, you're mesmerizing. You're mesmerizing. You're absolutely mesmerizing. The people who you were looking up to, they become Your clients. Not just your peers, not just your friends, not just your mentors, but your clients. And so, if you know that you are ready, absolutely ready to step into the you 10.0, that new chapter of you, who is living not at 20% of your full potential, but at 110%. If you are ready to be the person who turns their weekly income into their monthly income, and then you do it again, and then you do it again. If you're ready to have real passion, love, connection, the thing that you crave the most is connection, is love. You want to be loved. You want to be loved. You want to be loved. You desire it. You deserve it. If you're ready for that, if you're ready to open up your storehouses and your basket to receive more magnificent love, affection, money, wealth, abundance, overflow, if you're ready to have not just a bunch of followers, but a movement, a tribe, a legacy, then I want to invite you to take step 2 on this page. Take the next step. And I want you to click the button below, and we'll talk about you getting into this next chapter. Do it now. I know you already feel like the butterflies. You're like, you want to do it, you feel nervous. Like, if you still haven't clicked the button yet and you're still thinking about it, you're still watching this video, just do it. Just do it. You cannot get new results if you continue to do the things you've always done. And it's time you did something different. It's time you did what you desire to do. It's time you allowed yourself to have all it is that you know you're meant for. So click the button below. Click it now. And it's time to embrace the transformation you've been waiting for.